Hi, my name is Christina Nakaya, and I'm a flexibility and contortion coach here in Hollywood, California. This video will give you all the tools you need if you've always wanted to do splits or back bends. But how well this video works is up to you. The best results will come if you stretch at least 3 times a week. You don't necessarily have to go through the entire video every time. You can focus on the areas that are particularly difficult for you and really need extra help. But you really want to stretch your whole body on a regular basis to get the best results. This video assumes a certain amount of physical fitness, so if you haven't worked out or stretched for a long time, or if you have any injuries, you may want to talk to your doctor or a physical therapist before starting the video in order to make sure that your body's ready for it. It's also important whenever you're stretching to be able to differentiate between good pain and bad pain. When you're stretching, good pain is that feeling of your body opening up to a new range of motion. When you're stretching and you have a sharp nervy pain or a pain that stays with you even after you come out of the stretch, then you might want to back off a little bit and maybe talk to your fitness professional before going back into that stretch. You want to make sure you don't hurt yourself. That said, if you go nice and slow and really take your time and feel your body, you should be just fine. It's also important to drink lots of water if you're going to be stretching so you don't get dehydrated and get your muscles cramping up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check in with me at fitandbendy.com. I'd love to hear about your progress. Enjoy the video. Part 1, the warm-up. We're going to circle through every joint in the body, starting with the wrists. Big, giant circles like you're scooping out the inside of a peanut butter jar. And let's switch directions, going to the inside, same thing, big circles. And now let's circle the elbows. Make the full range of motion that the elbows are capable of. And let's switch directions, going to the inside, same thing, big circles. And now let's circle the right arm. Left hand stays on the rib cage. The body should be still, just the arm is working. Now let's go forward. And switch sides. Left arm circles, no movement in the rib cage. And let's go forward. Really feel the back muscles opening up as that happens. And chest forward and back. Letting the shoulder blades slide along the rib cage. Head goes side to side. Work on keeping the shoulders down as the head moves away to maximize the distance between the ear and the shoulder. And now turning the head side to side. Again, trying to keep the shoulders down and open so just the head and neck are moving. And up and down. Really think about lengthening the neck as you move your head up and down. Think about pointing your chin up to the ceiling as the head turns back. Start with small circles. And as the neck loosens up, gradually get bigger. If this hurts your neck, you can do half circles to the front, half circles to the back. Switch directions, again, small circles, and gradually getting bigger. Let's go back to the chest slides, forward and back. It should feel a little bit bigger and looser now. And right and left. Feel the oblique muscles working and opening up. And now change your position, open up the feet and the hips, slide right and left. Feel the stretch in the outside of the hips. And sit into your right hip, just let it slide out there, really push into that hip. And now bend the knee. It's going to change the stretch. Other side, slide it out. And bend the knee. And then we'll go into some hip circles. Big, giant circles. Nice, loose, easy. This whole section should just feel nice, loose, and easy. Just moving through the body. Nothing tight, nothing painful. Big circles with the hips. And then front and back, the whole spine is moving now. Top of the spine, bottom of the spine, tucking the tailbone under, arching the back out. And stand on your left foot here. You're going to pick up your right foot and circle the right hip. and switch directions. The foot and knee are just relaxed and dangling like dead fish at the end of your legs. Now, stirring the bath water with the knee and switch directions, just moving the knee joint through its full range of motion, and the ankle. Big circles with the ankle, scooping out the peanut butter jar with your toes, switch directions. And let's switch sides. Big circles from the hip. Just let the foot relax. It can look a little messy, that's okay. You're just starting to circle through the joint, wake it up. Stirring the bath water with the knee. Foot is still relaxed. Switch directions. If you have any snap, crackle, pops in the knee, just work through them. And the ankle. Biggest possible circle with the foot and the toes. Switch directions. Nice wide stance, ribs down, let's plie. Knees bend, arms come up. As you bend the knees, think about squeezing your butt to send the knees out over your feet, not letting them come in, not letting your back arch or your butt stick out. Every time you come down, think about squeezing the butt and dropping down a little bit further to open up the hips, and let's bounce down into those hips. You should be feeling the inner thighs stretching open as you send the knees out over the feet. Every time, try to drop it down a little bit lower as the hips open. Push the left knee out and the right knee out, both knees at the same time, and let's do some kicks. Right leg kicks up. Every time you bring it up, you're going to come up a little bit higher, so start low. And as the hamstring starts to warm up, you can bring it up a little higher. Don't worry about having perfect point in your toe. Foot should be relaxed. Only the hamstring is working here to open up. And let's switch to the left, starting low, gradually getting higher. Really squeeze the quadricep, trying to get the leg nice and straight as it comes up a little higher. And let's switch sides, kicking to the outside. Leg starts to come up low at first. Quadricep is squeezed, foot is relaxed, gradually getting higher. Hold the body nice and still, using your abdominal muscles, gradually getting higher and higher. Think about bringing the leg towards your ear. Let's do the other side. Start low and getting a little bit higher. Letting the outside of the hip warm up a little bit. Still feeling it in the hamstring, a little higher now. And you're warm. Part 2, splits preparation. We're going to stretch our legs and hips. Slide that right leg back into a deep lunge and sink the right hip bone down towards the floor. Really think about sliding the front foot forward and lifting up out of your right hip by pushing into the front foot. You should be feeling the stretch in the front of your right hip. Use your abdominal muscles to lift up out of that hip, squeeze your butt, and tuck your pelvis under. Ribs pull back. From here, take a big inhale, and on the exhale, push the top of your shin bones straight into the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax and sink it down a little bit deeper. We're going to create pressure again, this time big inhale, and on the exhale, feel like you're tucking your pelvis under and trying to drag your knee forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax it down, but trying to keep the tuck in the pelvis. You should feel the muscles opening up a little bit there. And now curl the toes of the back leg under and straighten that back leg. You can put your hands on the floor if it feels too challenging to do it with the body upright. Lifting the body up straight and tall. You should intensify the stretch in the front of your right hip. From here, you're going to bend and straighten the back knee. Every time you straighten it, you want to think about sinking that right hip bone down towards the floor. You're using the strength of your quadricep and your butt to open up the front of that right hip. Should be a nice stretch as well as a good strengthening workout. I'm going to do 8 to 10 of these at your own pace. If your knee doesn't touch the floor, that's fine. Block the leg out, both arms out to the side, and bring them up over your head. If you want a little extra challenge, think about pushing into that front foot, lifting the ribs up and over as you reach for your back foot. Don't worry about the upper body so much as feeling it all in the front of that right hip. And come on out, lift your body up and turn to the right, sinking your hip down to the floor in a side lunge. You're going to push your left knee out to the side and lean towards that outstretched leg, toes facing the ceiling, opening up the inside of the left hip. The more you lean toward the outstretched leg, the deeper the stretch is going to be. And from here, squeeze the inner thigh into your hand, creating that tension in the inner thigh for 3, 2, 1. And then relax and push it a little bit further out to the side. And again, squeeze into the hand. As you breathe, use the exhale for 3, 2, 1. And relax and push it out a little bit further. Sink your butt down towards the floor a little bit more. Enjoy. And come on out by sitting down and rotating your body back to the left. We're going to go into the pigeon stretch, getting the outside of the hip. Square your shoulders and hips to the front. Move the front foot forward and round down. If your hips aren't all the way on the floor in this position, you can put a yoga block underneath your butt to support your hips. Walk the hands out forward and just try to relax. It should feel good, if slightly intense. If you need a little bit more intenseness, just move that left foot forward and you will feel a delicious stretch. Reach those hands out long in front of you and breathe. One more deep breath. Let the body melt down over that leg, opening up, and let's come on out. Lift your body up, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to stretch the quads. So reach back and grab that right foot, keeping the right hip bone down. Bring the foot to your butt. Sitting up nice and tall, lifting out of that hip. You're still going to feel the hip stretching as you bring the heel in nice and close. Getting a delicious stretch. From here, we're going to create tension by pushing the top of the foot into the hand. Take a big inhale and push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax and use your hand to bring the heel in a little bit closer. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and exhale. Push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, bring it in a little bit closer, really enjoying that stretch. And let's come on out. Coming into our hamstring stretch. Let's start with the calf. Put the yoga block in front of you. Ball of the foot goes on the block, heel on the floor. You can put another block on top for your hands if your hands don't reach the first block, so you have something to rest on. Go ahead and bend and straighten that knee a few times. You'll feel it in the hamstring and in the calf. Now lock that knee out straight. Squeeze the quadricep as you round down, dropping your head towards your toes. From here, we're going to try to push the ball of the foot straight down into the block. Push, 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 like you're trying to point your toe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now relax and go deeper. Rock the weight forward into the ball of the foot a little bit more. The more weight you put into the ball of the foot, the more exciting this stretch is going to be. Stick your butt up towards the ceiling and try to keep your hips square. Come on out. Now we're going to stretch the rest of the hamstring. And bend the right knee down onto the floor, left leg straight out in front of you. Make sure the toes are lined up right in front of your nose. And pull the left hip back so that both hips are square. Stick out your butt and extend your spine forward, pulling your belly in, making the back nice and long. From here, you can bend and straighten that front knee a few times, just to let the hip open up, hamstring open up, ease into the stretch. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper, bringing the head down towards the foot. Take a few deep breaths. From here, press the heels straight down into the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax it down a little bit deeper. Let's do that again. Big inhale. Exhale, push the heels straight down, trying to bend the knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax it down. Now you're going to really extend the top of your head towards your foot and bring the toes back towards the top of your head, making sure you're pulling the little toe along with the big toes. Lengthen the entire spine. Should be really working here. And come on out. And let's do the other side. Left leg slides back into a deep lunge. Right foot out in front. Sink that left hip bone down into the floor. Push into the right foot to lift the ribs away from the front thigh and square the hips. Keep the hips square by pushing the left hip forward, squeezing your left butt cheek. Keep sinking it down. And from here, take a big inhale. And on the exhale, you're going to push that shin bone straight down into the floor. Push it hard for 5, 4, 3, 2, and sink it down. Let's do that again. Take a big inhale. Exhale and tuck the pelvis under and feel like you're trying to drag that knee forward. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax and sink it down. Excellent. Keep squaring the hips and pulling the ribs back. From here, you're going to curl the toes of the back foot under, straighten the back leg. Squeeze that quadricep as you lift the knee up, and then lift the body up tall. Keep pushing into the front foot and lifting the ribs back. Bend and straighten the back leg. Do it 8 to 10 times. Keep the hip bones sinking down towards the floor. Trying not to go up and down too much. Just keep thinking about getting the left hip bone closer to the floor. Enjoy the workout for your left leg. Belly stays in, lifting up towards the ceiling. Both arms out to the side, lift up out of that hip, get taller, taller, taller. Both arms up. If you really want to challenge yourself, push into that right foot and reach for your back foot. Keep lifting your chest towards the ceiling, enjoying the opening up of the left hip. Make sure that back leg stays nice and straight. And come on out. Turn the body to the left. Left leg is extended, right knee is bent. Lean towards the outstretched leg as you push the right knee out and away from you. The more you lean towards the outstretched leg, the more exciting it will be. And let's create some resistance. Take a big inhale. Exhale, squeeze the inner thigh into your hand. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax and push it out a little bit further. And let's do that again. squeeze the inner thigh for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And push it out a little bit further. Really open up that inner thigh, sinking the butt down towards the floor. And sit the butt all the way down. Let's go to pigeon stretch. Rotate your body. Move the foot forward as far as you need to get a good stretch, and square your hips and shoulders to the front of the room. Round down over that leg. Walking the arms forward, just let your body melt and relax down. It should feel good. You can feel the stretch in the outside of your hip, and your butt, and your lower back. Any of those is good. Long, slow breaths here. If you want a little bit more stretch, just move that foot a little bit further forward. That'll give it to you. Reaching long out of the hips. As you feel the body relax and open up, you can keep walking the hands forward. Try to find that moment of release where the muscle just lets go and your body can relax and sink a little bit deeper. Come on out. And let's stretch the quad. Reach around and grab that back foot, bringing it in towards your butt. Get the heel in as close to your butt as you can, keeping the left hip bone pushing down towards the floor. Don't let it open out towards the wall behind you. Get it in as close as possible. Lifting up nice and tall, let's create some resistance. Push the foot into the hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax and pull it in a little bit deeper. Excellent. One more time. Inhale and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pull it in a little bit further. The squeezing and resisting should help that muscle relax. Let's stretch out the calf. Stand up. Right foot is in front with a yoga block underneath the ball of the foot. Stack the other block on top for a little assistance, and let's bend and straighten that front leg a few times, just easing into the stretch. Every time you straighten the legs, squeeze the quad. Now lock it out. Lifting the kneecap up towards your hip. Stick your butt up in the air. And round down. From here, big inhale. And exhale, push the ball of the foot straight down into the block like you're trying to point your toe. For 3, 2, 1. And then relax and go a little bit deeper. Keep sticking your butt up towards the ceiling and rock your weight forward into the ball of your foot. The more weight you put forward, the more bang you get from your stretch. Come on out, let's stretch the hamstring. Right foot straight out in front. Bring the foot right in front of your face. Square your hips by pulling the right hip back, making sure it's in line with the left hip. And stick out your butt, extending your entire spine forward like you're in traction. Bend and straighten that front leg a few times. And round down a little further. Keep sticking out your butt and reaching your head towards your foot as you flex the toes back. All 5 toes come back towards your face. And push the heels straight down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And go a little bit deeper. Let's do that again. Now you're going to try to bend the knee. Inhale. And exhale, try to bend the knee, digging the heel down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Really pull those toes back towards your head now. Extend the spine, keep that hip square, keep pulling it back, and you can pull the toes back, bring the little toes back towards your face. And come on out. Good job. Just one more set of stretches before you're ready to start your splits. Both legs straight out in front of you, arms up over the head. Walk your butt back and diagonally lean your body forward. Sternum reaching towards your toes. Arms pulled back. Getting a nice stretch up out of the lower back and the hips. Really reach out long and then round down over the legs, keeping the length. Long, slow breaths. Continuing to bring the sternum forward towards the toes. Rock the body side to side a little bit. And now flex the feet, all 5 toes back towards your face. Flex them so hard the heels come up off the floor. They might not come up off the floor today, but that's your goal, is to get those heels back. Now bend both knees and pull the toes towards your face. And keeping the toes pulled back, straighten the legs again, trying to get the heels up. Continuing to pull the sternum towards the toes. And let's try that again. Bend the knees, bend the elbows a little bit more, bring everything in together and straighten the legs, pushing the heels forward, squeezing your quadriceps, using the muscles to really open up the backs of the legs and the lower back, bringing the head as close as you can get it toward the toes. Pull the toes, use the toes. Wonderful, come on out. Feet together, knees apart for butterfly stretch. If your hips are really tight, it's nice to get these to loosen up a little bit by just rocking side to side, saying nice things to your body, getting it to open up. A little bit of movement here can help tight muscles to open up a bit. Now let's walk the body forward, rounding down over the legs. Reach out as far as you can with both hands. And breathe here. Spread out the fingers nice and wide. Press the palms into the floor and arch the back. Lift the head up, lift the chest up, and think about pushing your belly button towards your toes as you stick out your butt behind you. Really feel this stretch. And then relax and see if you can walk your hands out just a little bit further. Progress is always made in millimeters. And again, arch the back. Lift the head up, stick out your butt. Use the muscles to press the outside of the leg into the floor before you round down again, reaching out a little bit further. And now just melt it down for the last few breaths. Great. Come on out. You're ready for splits. Part 3, the splits. Let's start in a deep lunge with your right leg back, making sure your hips are square and your belly is pulled back away from your front thigh, pushing into your front foot. We're just doing this stretch again to say hi to that part of the body since it gets a good stretch in the splits. So we want to make sure it's nice and warm and juicy before we go into our full splits. Lift the belly up and away, drop the hip towards the floor. And now we're going to go back and say hi to the hamstring. Same thing, just set yourself up in a good position, toes right in front of the nose. Pull the hip back so it's square and go into your hamstring stretch. It should feel nice and warm after our warm-up, but just make sure that it's ready to do some serious stretching. Say something nice to it. Wiggle it around a little bit. Get it ready for some serious stretching. And from here, let's slide into the splits. Grab your yoga blocks and put them next to your hip. Slide the front foot forward, keeping the hips square. Think about pushing the hip bone down towards the floor, squeezing your butt, and pulling the front hip back and down. You want to make sure your hands are right next to your hips. If you can reach the floor, then you don't need the yoga blocks. Pushing that hip down and forward. And from here, we're going to do some squeezing. So take a big inhale. On the exhale, push both legs straight down to the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. And see if you can sink it down a little bit deeper. Again, squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And sink it down again. squeezing should have helped it relax a little bit and sink down just a little bit further. If you feel like you need a deeper stretch, you have the option of putting a block underneath your front heel. That's going to give you a little bit more fun in your stretch. Just make sure that you keep the hips square when you're in that position. If you have difficulty reaching out of your hip, you can do a twist, pulling your body into the twist by reaching your hand across, making sure that back butt cheek is still squeezed. Let's do the other side. Let's come to your deep lunge. This time your right leg is in front, and we're gonna just say hi to the front of that left hip. Again, make sure your hips are square. You're gonna squeeze your booty cheek on the left side and use it to open up the front of that left hip. Really enjoying that feeling. Just saying hi, say something nice to the muscle. Get it ready for some serious stretching. And let's do the same thing with a hamstring. Make sure the toes are right in front of your nose, not going out to the side. Pull the hip back, leg is straight, and just round down over that leg. Extend the spine forward, get a nice stretch here. Really let it open up, getting ready for that split. Wonderful. From here, slide forward into the split, keeping the hips square. You can always check if you're square from the hip bones in front. If you have big booty like me, it's going to look a little bit unsquare from the back, but as long as the hip bones are even, you know you're in the right spot. Keeping the hands next to your hips. Sink those hips down into the floor. Use your abdominal muscles to keep lifting you up nice and tall. Pushing the left hip bone down into the floor. Squeeze both legs down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sink it down a little deeper. Let's do it again. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sink it down again. Now it should be opening up nicely, keeping the left hip bone down towards the floor. Try a little bit of twist. The twisting can be very helpful in opening up the back hip, which is usually the tightest spot for most people. Make sure you're not leaning forward, lifting up nice and tall. Long, slow breaths, saying nice things to your body and staying very calm. Beautiful. Let's move on to middle splits. Open both legs out as wide as they can go. Knees and tops of the feet facing the ceiling, reach up and over. Right hand reaching as far as you can, past the foot as your body twists towards the ceiling. Come up and now facing that leg. Right hand is going to walk itself out past the left foot as the right foot reaches far away towards the opposite wall, creating a nice long line. Come up to center. Let's do the other side. Left hand reaches up and over, twisting the whole body, looking past your armpit towards the ceiling, thinking about touching your spine to your knee. And come up. Slide both arms out. Really reach that left hand out as far past the right foot as you can as that left foot reaches in opposition. And let's go to the center. Make sure that the tops of your knees and your feet are still facing the ceiling here. The goal is to get the belly on the floor. And then relax a little bit. Have a good time in this position. Pressing both palms into the floor, let's arch the back, just like we did in the butterfly stretch. Pushing the belly button down. And walk the hands out a little bit further. We're going to do it one more time. Arch the back, pull the feet back, stick out your butt. Think about trying to pull the feet towards the wall behind you. And now relax it down onto the floor. Really enjoy that feeling. Letting everything open up. Long, slow breaths. You can always open up the feet a little bit more as the body starts to relax. A little bit of movement in the middle splits can help the body relax even more. Try not to stay too still if you feel your muscles cramping up. Just sway the body around, move it around a little bit. Wonderful. Let's move into middle splits. The easiest way to get into these is to come up to standing and just let your feet slide out to the side as far as you feel comfortable, keeping the knees squeezed tight. No bend in the knees. Quadriceps should be nice and strong to protect the knees. You can move to the elbows as you get further down. Don't worry if you're not quite this far down yet. It'll happen. This stretch can be a little intense for some people. Try to just hang out with it, breathe through it, and know that everything is going to be okay. If you're all the way down or close to all the way down, you can always use some yoga blocks for a little extra oomph. If you're going to do over splits in this position, make sure that your knees are really squeezed out and really lift up the belly and keep nice, strong abdominal muscles to protect your lower back. You can hang out in this position for up to 2 minutes, but you want to make sure that you keep the knees strong, and a little bit of movement in and out is always helpful. If this hurts your knees too much, this is another option. Lie on your back and just let the legs fall open. If this feels difficult, you can also put your butt up against the wall and use the wall to support your legs. Hang out here for a couple minutes. You can repeat this section a couple times as necessary. Part 4, shoulder warm-up and stretching. Standing up nice and tall, good posture. You want to lift the hips up and drop the rib cage down. Big shoulder circles. Really working the back muscles as you pull the shoulders back and down, letting the arms dangle limp by your sides like overcooked spaghetti. Bring the shoulders up and down as far as you can. Let's switch directions. Feeling the back getting broader every time you bring the shoulders forward. Really working all those muscles in the back. Now the arms circles, it's locked out nice and straight. No movement in the rib cage. As the joint gets warmer, you can start to speed up the circle, getting it nice and juicy and limber. Let's do the other side, starting slow, working through all the snap, crackle, pop. As the joint gets warmer, speed it up. Feeling the blood flowing to the shoulders. That's what warm-ups are for. Both arms out. Circle the shoulders up, back, and down, putting your shoulder blades in your back pocket. Slicing your arms through the air, bringing your hands towards the wall behind you. No movement in the rib cage, isolating it all into the shoulders. Using the back muscles to squeeze the arms back towards the wall behind you on every bounce. Palms facing the floor. Same motion, arms in horizontal position. Feel like you're clacking your shoulder blades together in the back. Try not to let the chest pop out, isolating the movement into the shoulders. Shake out the arms. Standing next to the wall, hand on the wall. Think about lifting the chest and dropping the shoulder blade down your back. From here, you're going to lean your armpit in towards the wall. You might feel a little bit of a stretch in your triceps here. Some people won't feel anything. Now to move it into the chest, the hand moves back. Every time you move the hand back a little further, you're stretching a different part of the pectoral muscle, making sure the chest stays nice and open and the shoulder is back. Hand moves to shoulder height. From here, press the palm into the wall for 3, 2, 1. And then relax and walk away from the wall, opening the arm like a door. Keeping the chest lifted, slight bend in the knees. You should feel a nice stretch through the pec muscle. If your hand's going to sleep, just wiggle your fingers a little bit. Breathe into your chest. Lovely, let's do the other side. Right hand on the wall. Keeping the shoulder down, lean in towards the wall. And move it back. Starting to get into the pec muscle now. Hand is pressing into the wall. And move it back one more time. And to shoulder height. Keeping that chest nice and open, shoulder rotated back. Press the hand for 3, 2, 1, and open the arm like a door. Bending the knees, keeping the chest lifted, really getting deep into the chest muscles here. Long, slow breaths. Excellent. Let's stretch the shoulders. Kneeling, both hands on the wall, make sure they are shoulder width apart and the arms are straight, squeezing the inside of the elbows in towards each other, relaxing the top of the head down towards the floor. Think about making the shoulder blades as close to your hips as possible so your neck gets really, really long. And breathe as you open up your armpits towards the floor. Press the palms into the wall. Long, slow breaths. Make sure those arms are nice and straight. And for a little bit more fun, just tuck the pelvis under without lifting the armpits away from the floor. You'll feel a nice stretch in the shoulders there. Moving on, we call this stretch moose because people make grunty moose noises when they do it. Both hands on the wall, fingers spread out, thumbs touching, elbows squeezed in towards each other, head drops back towards the ceiling, chest drops to the wall. Now don't worry if your chest doesn't get all the way to the wall today. Keep on doing the stretch, it will eventually get there. Make sure that your shoulder blades are sliding down your back, lifting your chin up towards the ceiling. If your chest is on the wall, all you have to do is slide your hands down a little bit lower and the stretch will get even more exciting. If you're feeling the stretch in your lower back, just tuck the pelvis under a little bit. You want to be feeling it in your upper back, shoulders, and neck. The more tuck you get in the pelvis, the more intense it will get in the upper back. Don't forget to breathe. Passing out is very undignified. Part 5, back bends. Let's start warming up the spine by arching and contracting the entire body using your abdominal muscles. You want to have the abdominal muscles supporting the spine the entire time, so get used to the feeling of using that contract and expansion from the front to move the spine around. Just get it nice and warm and juicy. Both arms come up, and we're going to do some back bends starting from the top. First thing that happens, the head is going to drop back. Then the shoulders pull back. Then the chest lifts towards the ceiling, reach back, touch the wall behind you, and come back up to standing. Notice nothing is happening from the belly button down, so you really use the abs to support the body as this happens. Think of your body like a candy cane, completely straight and just bends at the top. This should feel like a sit-up, except you're standing and going backwards, so you really want to feel the abdominal muscles working. We're going to do this 8 to 10 times until it starts to feel smooth and easy. Every time, feel like you're going a little bit further. Head drops, pull the shoulders, lift the chest. See if you can go a little bit further and keep lifting the chest towards the ceiling. Use your lower abs to keep the hips from shifting forward. Now we're going to go a little bit further. Head drops, shoulders, lift the chest, and now we're going to start to go into a real back bend here. You want to make sure you're still feeling the abdominal muscles supporting the front of the body, lifting you up and out of your hips, so there should be no crunching into the lower back. Think about lengthening the spine as you bend it, going up and over instead of just down. Let's do 8 to 10 of these. Every time going a little bit further. warming up the back, making sure the abs are nice and strong. You never want to go any further in the back bend than you can support with your abdominal strength. So if you feel crunchy, time for sit-ups. Let's do Cobra. Come to lying on your belly on the floor, hands next to your chest. Pull the elbows in towards your hips so the elbows are right over the hands. From here, you're going to lift just your head. Everything else stays down, pushing your chin forward like a turtle coming out of its shell. Then lift up so just the bottom of your ribs are on, and then up to just your belly button. Everything else curling up, chest stays open. Without lifting up your feet, see if you can hover your hands off the floor here, using the front of your body and the back of your body to hold yourself in place, getting nice and strong. Hands come back down, and now you're going to straighten the arms, push up so your hip bones are down. Circle the shoulders up, back, and down, and lock them in with the chest nice and wide. Make sure your neck's relaxed so you can shake out your head. Come on back down. Let's do that again. Exact same thing. Head comes up. And come up to your bottom rib. And come up to your belly button. Keep the feet down. Hover the hands. Try to keep your body up as high as you can. Use those muscles. And let's come up all the way. Hands go back down on the floor. Straighten the arms. Circle the shoulders. And lock them in place. Feel those back muscles working. Now use your abs to lift yourself up a little higher as your head drops back, sticking your chin up towards the ceiling. You can come up a little higher if you want. And bonus points if your feet touch your head. Work on squeezing from the hamstrings and keeping the hips on the floor. Keep on breathing in this position and using your abdominals to lift you up a little bit higher. Think about trying to touch your chest to the ceiling, and don't forget to breathe. Now come on down, and we're going to move into a kneeling position. Sitting up nice and tall on your knees. Knees are hip width apart. Right hand reaches ground and grab your heel. You can also put it on your waist if grabbing your heel feels too intense. Left arm reaches up and over towards the wall behind you. You're going to squeeze your butt, push your hips forward, and lift your chest towards the ceiling, using the muscle in your shoulder to pull that left arm back as far as you can. Keep on using your abdominal muscles to lengthen that spine as it bends. Come on out. Let's do the other side. Left hand reaches back, grab the heel or put it on your hip. Right arm pulls back by your ear. Lift the chest to the ceiling. Squeeze your butt. See if you can get your hips a little bit in front of your knees. The whole spine is bending backward. Think about reaching that right arm back for the floor. Head is completely relaxed back on the end of your neck. And pull up from the abs. Now we're going to do both hands to both hips or both hands to both heels, depending on what feels comfortable for you. Again, squeeze your butt, push your hips forward, lengthen from the abs, drop your head back, lift the chest to the ceiling, and enjoy the entire front of your body opening up a little bit more. Keep the shoulders rotated back, neck relaxed, gaze relaxed, jaw relaxed, as everything in the front of the body opens up and lengthens so your back can bend. Pull up from your abs to come out. It's time for bridge. Go ahead and lie on your back. Hands are going to go right next to your ears. Fingertips facing in. Feet are hip width apart. You want to pull in your elbows so they're right over your hands, not winging out to the side. And straighten your arms, straighten your legs. Think about lifting your belly to the ceiling as you squeeze your elbows in. Beautiful. Nice, easy curve. Make sure that your neck is relaxed. You should be able to shake your head out. Long, slow breaths, pushing the belly to the ceiling. A little bit of movement in the bridge can be really good to help you feel relaxed and stable. And let's come on down. We're going to do it one more time. Set yourself up, hands next to the head. pull the elbows in and stretch your body up to the ceiling. Make sure that neck is relaxed, head is just dangling there. And if your arms are all the way straight, you can try straightening your legs and pushing your shoulders out over your hands. This is going to ease up the pressure on your wrists and give you a wonderful upper back stretch. Keep those arms straight. If your arms aren't straight, just work on that. Now walk the hands in a little bit closer to your feet. Get them as close as you feel comfortable and try to straighten your legs and push your hips forward over your feet. This is going to get into the lower back, so you want to keep pulling from the lower abs and tucking the hips under so you don't feel a crunch in your back. When you're ready to come down, walk the hands away and just come on down. Beautiful. You can repeat that a few times if you like. Part 6, cooling down. Lie on your back and get ready to do some forward bending after all that back bending. Pull your knees into your chest and feel your entire spine flat on the floor. Pull them in as tight as you can. Might get a little bit of a pinch in the front of your hips. Think about dropping your butt heavy onto the floor. Enjoy the lengthening in your spine. And now tuck your chin into your chest and think about trying to push the back of your neck down to the floor. I know it gives you a very attractive triple chin right there. So your entire spine should be on the floor. Open both arms out to the side and let's get a little twist, letting the knees fall to the left and looking to the right. Palms should be facing the ceiling to keep the chest nice and open. Switch sides. Knees are squeezed together. It feels so good after all that back bending. Long, slow breaths. And use your abs to pull the knees back into center. Hands down by your side. Press the palms into the floor. Legs are straight. Use your abs to lift your butt up and over your head. If you have a cranky neck, you might want to skip this one. Let the toes relax down onto the floor. Slide the shoulders down and think about lifting your butt up higher towards the ceiling. Not necessarily up and over your face, but up towards the ceiling, pushing your belly button in towards your spine. And bend both knees down, giving yourself kneecap earmuffs, trying to squeeze your head with your knees, still lifting your butt up and sliding your shoulders down. Let's come out with the legs straight. Use your abs to slowly and with great control roll back down. Legs lower slowly to the ground, keeping the lower back down. Let's roll over. And for your spine health and longevity, we're going to hold plank for 1 minute. You can either do this on your elbows or, if your wrists are okay, on straight arms. Think about turning the inside of your elbows in to face each other so the soft parts face each other. Fingers are spread out. A little bit of tuck in the pelvis, belly button pulled up towards the spine, and then push the floor away from you as hard as you can, as if you're lifting your chest up away from the floor, feeling a roundness in your back. That's going to fire all those muscles in your back, getting it nice and strong. And we're just going to hold this for a minute. You should be pushing the floor away from you as hard as you can so you're actually getting a strain in the muscles, really working the muscles through the chest, through the back, and in the arms and the abs. This is a great full body workout. Being able to hold this for a minute is going to really increase the health of your spine. Make sure that as you get tired, your hips don't sink down towards the floor. You also want to make sure that your head doesn't sink down towards the floor like a sad cow. Keep the back of your head lifted up towards the ceiling. That was 1 minute. Sure went by fast. Pull your hips back and give yourself a nice relaxing forward stretch. A couple of long, slow breaths, congratulating yourself on a wonderful stretch. Good job. Same time again tomorrow.